Hi guys. So I am making a Transport Fever 2 series, and it's gonna be basically mostly time lapses of me doing basically playing City Skylines but with Transport Fever 2. So that means that I'm mostly interested in aesthetics and how things look, and though I do like making some things functional, like the most important thing for me is that the miniature people will be actually walking around so the city would look alive. I don't very much do cargo or anything like that in terms of the chains that the game supplies, but I do have trucks running around, and I basically try to build a hyper-realistic city with what the game allows, and the game is horribly optimized for detailing to the extent that I like doing. So it's a lot of hard work, but I enjoy it because I think that the graphics of the game are phenomenal and way better than City Skylines. They look a lot more realistic, so I feel like there's a lot more that can be done with the game. So after I introduce myself, now, as you can see, it's a parking lot, or the beginning of it. It's a very rough draft. We're gonna start detailing it more as the video progresses. But basically, so yeah, I'm building a harbor area right now, so it's a parking lot, and right next to the parking lot, I'm now building this. It's not a construction site; it's probably like a hall or like a warehouse that was stripped down, or that they're building a new one. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's not very active. I'm now putting in a gate. Mad Hatter is amazing. He has a lot of mods that I use them for everything. Basically, without him, I couldn't do half the stuff that I do in the game. So yeah. And before that, while I was introducing the series, then you saw the parking lot. Now I'm dying. I'm not dyeing the ground. I'm putting textures on the ground. I do a lot of texture work because the game allows for a lot of like texture nuances. So X and Y together and they're mixed, and it adds a lot of vibrance. If you've noticed, a second ago I dropped um, basically a train piece on the right side of the construction area. I will explain about that later. Anyway, I'm now putting cars in the parking lot. So this is just very rough detailing of the parking lot, and soon I'm gonna show you a picture from Google Maps that it's not a picture, it's like a video that is the inspiration for this area. And after that, we're gonna come back to the time lapse. Unfortunately, I lost some footage where I put the lighting on the parking lot, so you'll miss that. So basically, when we come back to the time lapse after we're done looking at the Google Maps where I was taking inspiration from, there will already be lights on the parking lot, and then basically there's kind of more of a higher ground area where the houses are just really sitting on it, and they're very big and fancy. And on the left now you can see the construction area, like the old warehouse that was stripped down that I also put in the game. And yeah, now the lights are already built in to the parking lot, and now I'm doing this trick basically where I have some assets that I don't have them as like standby assets, but they are in a depot. So basically I draw roads wherever I want those cars to be, where I don't have just standing still assets, and then I make the cars drive there, and then I stop them, and then I just use them as assets basically. So they're not functional, but they're there because the game needs to have these buses where I want them to be, and I can't get them as assets. So I found that's a very good idea. And now we're starting to do the houses. So obviously, everyone that played Transport Fever 2 knows that the game can't do like gradual height changes. If a house stands on something, it needs to be completely flat. So making stuff that are mountainous, that have like some sort of leveling, is very difficult to make look good. So that's something that I always struggle with because it really hurts like the realism aspect of it, but I did what I could. Um, the tree texture right now, I was using a mod from Spaki, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he has like a mod that changes the texture of all the plants in the game. So it makes them look like the end of summer, which I like, but I like the regular texture better for what I'm doing, just because um, it doesn't give you assets with trees that are colored in a more autumny way or like end of summer way. It changes all the textures of all the trees, and I love a few trees that are really green, and when I use his texture, they're yellow, and I hate that. So you'll see a lot later, you might notice that the coloration on the plants is a tiny bit more green because right now it has the yellowish hue that mod adds to the plants, but I'm going to get rid of it afterwards. So basically I'm doing now the driveway for the second house now. I put parking on the sidewalk as you saw, and I really like the idea of putting the garage but then deleting it and using just the roof for it. I think it's very cool. I thought it was a good idea, and I'm pretty happy with how that came out. The problem is that it's super buggy, so what I mean by buggy is that if I level anything of the terrain, if I change anything in the terrain in that area, the roof gets deleted because that garage asset is super sensitive to like collision issues. So if I want to do any change, then it goes away and then I have to put it again. I didn't put it in the time lapse, but I ended up putting the roof there again twice besides the one that I showed. So yeah, what I did basically is that I showed you the parking lot where the cars are, but right next to the parking lot there's also a bigger area that is more designated for like trucks and buses. And I'm putting in more lights right now and vegetation to make it look more worn down and less taken care of, because it's like the Port Harbor area, but a more industrial area, so it's not fancy or anything like that. And now I'm gonna stock this warehouse basically. I'm gonna put a bunch of shit in it basically. Not real shit, boxes and all kinds of other assets that I have just to make it look full. It doesn't make a lot of sense because who has been keeping all of this crap here in this warehouse if this entire like lot is basically abandoned because there isn't much happening there? But I still think it's nice, so that's what I did. I try to have things make sense, but sometimes I'm concerned with the beauty more than anything, but I do like when there's some consistent logic to, like, that there could be a explanation to why things are the way they are, the way I put them. So yeah, I'm just adding a bunch of assets so it will be more of a working construction site. Right now there's no one there, but you know. So what I'm doing right now is basically I use assets that basically lets me put down buildings to force terrain to flatten the way I want it to. But that leaves this like quote unquote asset of a garbage can. So whenever I put that, I have to put assets on top of it to hide it, because I obviously don't want just a garbage can standing in the middle of nowhere. That's a cool asset I put there. It's just like, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I just really like that I put it there. I'm putting, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, sorry. I try to put a lot of, it's not called light boxes, it's like electricity boxes, I'm sure you know what I mean. I try to put it everywhere I think it might be. It's just really hard because since I started like hyper detailing, I've been paying a lot more attention to how streets look and where things are, where are the lamps, how high are the street lamps, where is there a railing, where isn't there, where are all the electricity boxes. And you can see the trash can again in the right side. Also, you saw that tree was kind of yellowish. It's not going to be like that once I remove the mod. So yeah, I've been learning a lot about, but it's difficult because I want it to be as realistic as possible, but for some of the stuff, I don't have the assets for that. Also, the game doesn't let you come close enough for me to detail stuff that are that tiny, which I would love to add if there were assets for. This is like a deck on the behind of that house. I really like that area. I think it's a very cool use of the space. But yeah, so I'm learning a lot from doing this, but it's also kind of frustrating because I want more assets to detail more pedantically, but I'm already pretty strict with how much detail I like adding. So yeah, it's kind of like a never-ending quest to find more mods and add more assets. And like I need assets of tiny little bottles that I could put around, you know, on tables and stuff. Yeah, so it's a thing that happens. This is a trick I like doing. I use lamps, but I shove them into the wall and make it so it just sticks out a tiny bit and above the entrance door of a house, and then it feels like a hanging light, because obviously you can't see the pole that's holding the lamp. I also use that as like security camera, but now I found a mod that has a security camera, so I don't need to do that anymore. So it's not like the modders on the workshop aren't providing all the stuff that I wish for. It's just that every time I get what I want something else. Something more, not something else. I wouldn't give up any of my mods. um, but yeah, uh, I'm starting to like spread out a bit. I'm a very erratic detailer. I jump between places. I don't finalize anything for a really long time because I get bored working on one area and I need to like refresh and think. I want to do an area next to it to figure out exactly what I want to do in that area. If you saw right now, I placed some people assets. I did that before too, but I do it a lot because it helps the livelihood. It's not livelihood, but it's like it makes the city more lively and it's more details to add. And besides that, I also have a lot of like magnets that basically generate people. So people will be walking on the sidewalk and there will be traffic because I'm gonna have car generators too, and also I'm gonna put cars that aren't cargo cars, they're just passenger cars on routes, so it looks like there's a lot of traffic in the city. Basically, I've come up with a lot of tricks by now to make everything looks super lived in and vibrant, even though the game mechanic of like the city doesn't exist because I'm building on an empty space. This isn't a city, there aren't demands. I just imagine what the demands are. This is really cool right now. I'm basically adding a sidewalk. The problem with that is I love it, but I hate it when the people that are generated by the game, well, the road there has flat sidewalks basically. So if people will walk on that sidewalk, they'll basically walk inside of my asset. So they would look like they're cut in half because they're walking on the height of the road, but I put decorative sidewalks that are taller, so they're basically gonna crash into the asset, which I hate. And it's my biggest struggle in the game, like having the people that the game simulate like walk into places I don't want them to walk to, and like how exactly it goes like with the sidewalks, for example, because some streets I have elevated sidewalks and some have like street height sidewalks. But either way, it's frustrating because the sidewalks usually don't look very good. I haven't found a perfect road mod pack yet. I have like 6 different types of road packs. so I could have all the, I get a one road from this pack and one road from that pack, and it's a nightmare. But basically, I like all my roads to not have assets on them and to not have lights on them, because I put my own lights and I put my own assets. So basically, every road that like generates anything above it except for the road is unacceptable. And besides that, some of them have curbs I don't like. It's a whole thing. Um, yeah, so I'm just detailing the front yards and stuff like that, adding more curbs. Um, I haven't commented on it at all. Basically, as you saw in my Google Maps like inspiration thing that I showed you, the area where the houses were at, on the other side of the parking lot, is kind of mountainous, and they're really sitting on the mountain. So I kind of tried to create that, but again, it's very difficult because the game doesn't allow for things to be not completely leveled. So it's hard to create something that is in a, the word is a slope. Yeah, the word I've been looking this whole time is a slope. Yeah, so you can't make buildings look good if they sit on a slope. So you can't have them on a slope, but that means that there's no like a gradual change of height. It's just basically very step like, the changes in height. So it's difficult to make it look organic for sure. But I'm just detailing that a bit just to make it more blend in. And really, when you look at it from the parking lot area, it looks like it just sits kind of naturally on the mountain. Only when you come close and really starts looking around do you see that it's really just two levels. But from afar, it really looks more mixed. Yeah, you can see this picture now. It's not that bad from this view. Like, it doesn't look completely um, I think it looks nice. I think it's good. But yeah, I'm also I have very high standards to what I want to do. Uh, I wonder if this is the end. I tried to not make the videos more than 20 minutes long. So yeah, this is the end. It's the first episode. It wasn't very exciting, but I hope to make more things that would be even more exciting in the next episode. So would be awesome if you like it. So I'll see you around, I guess. And thanks for watching. Bye.